All right. So today we are going to talk about this question. Why do Christians accept the inherited sinful nature from Adam belief? Why do they accept it? Here's the reality. If I had 100,000 people who love Jesus, who consider themselves Christians standing in front of me, and I said to them in the microphone, hey, did you guys know that Jesus teaches that you chose to become a sinner before the earth was created? Well, my guess is 99.9999% of people would disagree. They'd walk away and never listen again. I'm sure maybe a few of them might stick around and hear out the rest, but 99.99% would walk away. They would be like, what? You're saying it was my fault that I became a sinner? No, no, no. That's not what all the pastor preachers and scholars teach. Now, on the other hand, if I had 100,000 people who love Jesus, claim to be Christians, standing in front of me, and I said to them, hey, Adam is responsible for bringing sinful nature into humanity, and becoming a sinner was not your fault. Well, my guess is all of them would agree and stay and listen. Oh, okay, yeah, it was someone else's fault, and it was not my fault for becoming a sinner. Well, there you go. Inheritance accepted instantly. That's how they get convinced to accept their inheritance. And that's why Satan's inherited sinful nature doctrine is so masterfully deceitful. It instantly removes any and all possibilities for taking personal responsibility and instantly places all responsibility onto Adam. Inherited sinful nature appeals to the flesh desire to reject personal responsibility. It just appeals to it. They are demanded to accept their inheritance and believe it was Adam's fault humanity fell into sin. They're demanded to believe it. When someone adopts the Adam's fault model or the inherited sinful nature model of belief, this means that on an internal level, like on the deep internal level, they have zero desire to take personal responsibility for becoming a sinner. They just have no desire to take personal responsibility for that. But myself here, even at 10 years old, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, this did not make any sense to me at all. Because I would think to myself at 10 years old, I would think, you know, I don't think it would be something Jesus would teach to everybody. I just don't. If I became a sinner, somehow that had to be my fault. And I don't think blaming someone else for that is the right thing to do. If I am born turned against God, okay, that's how I was born. I was born turned against God, actively hostile against my creator, against Jesus. Somehow that had to be my fault. Somehow, some way, it had to be my fault. At 10 years old, I thought that. Have you ever heard of any judge in any court? Okay. Have you ever heard of this? Hey, buddy, you deserve to be punished because of what that dude over there did. Have you ever heard of any judge saying that? Yeah, no. That's not how justice works, my friend. And it was these thoughts that came from the Lord at 10 years old. These thoughts did not come from myself. There's no way that these thoughts came from myself because the pastors and preachers, they would not even entertain these types of thoughts and they would demand that I believe that Adam bears all the blame. But these thoughts, okay, override the pastors and preachers, and they always have. And these thoughts came from the Lord, and he saved me from ever believing Satan's inherited sinful nature doctrine. Because in my heart, and something inside me just told me, yeah, Dan, you're a sinner and you were born turned against God, but it was your fault. It wasn't Adam's fault. That's just what my thoughts were telling me. So have you ever had these types of thoughts? Like, you ever think about it this way? I don't think that'd be something Jesus would teach, and he doesn't. Have you ever had these types of thoughts or this type of desire in your heart to say, wait a minute. You want me to put all responsibility onto someone else for me becoming a sinner? That does not sound right. That does not sound like something Jesus would teach people to do. And in my 10-year-old little brain, I knew it was a trick. I knew it was a deception. Somehow, some way, I knew it. I knew the inherited sinful nature doctrine is a lie. I knew it. But that's what they teach. And this teaching started probably long before Jesus walked the earth. And I'm just going to show you a quick video of a pastor who talks about this, okay? And you will notice his demeanor just totally change when he talks about Adam and Eve. He gets really hostile and really over dramatic and hostile against Adam and Eve. Okay? This is how it goes. All right? So let's check this video out. Really short video right here, okay? And what he's going to talk about is, like, he goes into a part where he says, so, hey, buddy, when you get to heaven, okay, you're going to have some questions. You're going to have some questions for people that you read about in the Bible. You might have questions for Noah. You might have questions for David or Zechariah or Isaiah or Ezekiel, or, you're going to have some questions. And he talks about Adam and Eve in this too. So let's just watch the beginning of this. And let's see if you notice the way he changes his demeanor when he talks about Adam and Eve. Check this out.
Because I think at times in churches, it's so easy to come in and the significance of his presence is lost on us. Like, in fact, I think this is one of those things that we're going to be asked about by the Old Testament saints one day in eternity. I mean, I know you got your list. You're like, yeah, when I get to heaven, I'm going to ask some questions.
Right here, he says, I know you got your list. You're like, yeah, when I get to heaven, I'm going to have some questions. Okay? So that's what he's starting. This is where he starts talking about it.
All right, David, what was it like killing Goliath? And Moses, what was it like crossing the Red Sea? And Adam and Eve, what was it like being a bunch of sinful heathens? You morons, you messed it all up. And
oh, there you go. Did you see that? How his demeanor just got really hostile and over dramatic about Adam and Eve. Yeah, let's see if we can watch that again. Check this out.
All right, David, what was it like killing Goliath? And
hey, David, what was it like killing Goliath? All right, yeah, that's going to be an interesting answer to listen to. How about Moses?
Moses, what was it like crossing the Red Sea? And
hey, Moses, what was it like crossing the Red Sea when the Lord parted the Red Sea for you? What was that like? And Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve, what was it like being a bunch of sinful heathens? You morons, you messed it all up. And
Adam and Eve, what was it like being a bunch of sinful heathens? You morons, you messed it all up. Yeah. Do you hear Satan start speaking right through him when Satan preaches that doctrine through this man? Satan speaking right through him. Do you notice his demeanor change? Do you notice that? How really evil this guy gets?
You're like, yeah, when I get to heaven, I'm going to ask some questions. All right, David, what was it like killing Goliath? And Moses, what was it like crossing the Red Sea? And Adam and Eve, what was it like being a bunch of sinful heathens? You morons, you messed it all up. And
yeah, he just called Adam and Eve a bunch of sinful heathens, you morons, you messed it all up. See, that is called blame. All right. I don't care what how anybody tries to deflect. That is called blame. That's what they're doing. That's what Satan teaches you to do. Okay. That's it right there.
Questions. All right, David, what was it like killing Goliath? And Moses, what was it like crossing the Red Sea? And Adam and Eve, what was it like being a bunch of sinful heathens? You morons, you messed it all up. And
yeah, you morons, you messed it all up for all of humanity. We are all punished because of those two sinful heathens. They're morons and they messed it all up. Yeah. See, this guy has zero desire, zero thoughts in his mind that come to his mind and makes him think, I don't think blaming someone else for me becoming a sinner is the right thing to do. He has no desire to think that at all. None. Okay? So in my 10-year-old little brain, I knew that was a trick. I knew it was a deception, and I knew the entire inherited sinful nature doctrine is a lie. I knew it. I didn't know how to prove it back then, right? These are just the thoughts that would come through my head, okay? And back then, I'm like, I don't even know where these thoughts are coming from. I didn't even know where they were coming from, but I knew that I was not going to believe what that pastor just taught, that to blame Adam. So now I know how to prove it in the Bible. Now I know how to prove that doctrine is a lie. And that's what my channel is all about. All my videos are all about that. Targeting and destroying Satan's fake, false inheritance doctrine. And, I could really use your help getting these videos out there. just click like. If nothing else, just like the video. Okay? That'd be great. So which model do you think Jesus will forgive? Which model do you think Jesus will forgive? Just dig deep for a minute and just think about it to yourself. Do you think Jesus will forgive a my fault model? I became a sinner because I chose to become a sinner before the earth was created. Do you think Jesus will forgive a my fault model? Or do you think Jesus is going to forgive an inherited, not my fault model? Do you think Jesus teaches this right here? Do you see you got Adam in the middle? And you got all these people just pointing their fingers at Adam. Hey, Adam and Eve, you bunch of sinful heathens, you morons, you messed it all up. Yeah. Do you think that Jesus is going to forgive this model right here of belief? Do you really think so? Absolutely not. So if you were like me, okay, at all, if you were anything like me and you believe justice works on an individual basis and this inherited sinful nature doctrine just does not make any sense to you because something inside you tells you that blaming someone else for you becoming a sinner just does not seem like the right thing to do. Yeah. Are you anything like me at all and think that? Your whole thought process needs to change about the Bible. You need to begin thinking for yourself and ask Jesus to help you begin thinking to yourself. Hey, how and when did I choose to become a sinner? How and when did I do that? And how and when did I choose to separate myself from God? Because they teach that Adam's sin is the reason you are separated from God. But that's a lie also. Because you chose to separate yourself from God. Jesus teaches that you chose that. And why would you make those choices for yourself? I'm in the same boat. Okay? I did the same thing. And when I read the Word of God, I know that He died on the cross for me while I was a sinner and His enemy. Okay? That means I chose to become a sinner. I chose to turn against Jesus and become actively hostile against Him. I put Him on that cross. I did that, not Adam. Adam's sin did not do that. I did that. See the difference in the ways of thinking? You need to change your whole thought process. And when you begin thinking this way, from this point of view, okay, Jesus will teach you the answers. But you got to throw away the inherited sinful nature doctrine. You got to throw that away because it is keeping you in sin and on the path to hell. That's why Satan came up with it. Yeah, Satan knows that if you put all the responsibility onto this dude, Adam, he knows it, that you can't be born again because you are not taking personal responsibility. That's why Satan came up with it. Satan knows that you can't be born again if you blame Adam. But if you change your way of thinking and you think it was your fault, like I do, like I do, Jesus teaches that in the parable of the prodigal son. And there is an honest and truthful explanation that Satan does not want you to learn. Because he knows if you learn the honest and truthful explanation, then you can get born again and Satan will not own your soul anymore. So start your journey learning the truth about yourself and your own personal story in the Bible. The truth that Jesus is trying to teach you is this: you became a sinner on your own free will choice before the earth existed. The next Bible study is Jesus teaching us about the prodigal son parable. It should be coming up on your screen on this side right now. It's titled, "The First Thing Every Christian Should Learn About the Bible." Go click it right now and start watching and learn what Jesus teaches you about yourself. And I hope to see you over there.